Hey guys, what's up? So I got to play ARMS over the weekend at the Tokagi 2017 event. I was in an invitational tournament. It was 8 people, including myself, Momochi from Street Fighter, and Abadanga, who, funny enough, I got to fight first. It was just a random drawing. I got to fight Abba for my first match, so that was pretty interesting. But yeah, so got to play ARMS, and I got to practice it, not too much, but enough to play all the characters and try a few ARM combinations and get a good idea of how the game feels. So I kind of just wanted to make this video talking about just my impressions. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me in the comments below. And I'm not using my own footage for this video. I'm using YouTube footage from XCage Game, who uses the Nintendo Treehouse footage. So yeah, so I'm going to try to skip over the basic explanations of what everything is, because you can see that in the tutorials and the videos. So in this game, the thing I really thought was interesting and cool is that it's very... how to describe it? It felt like there was a lot of potential in just reading people and reading movement, because in this game you have your dash, and the dash is really, really good because you can dash forward, back, left, and right, and it's fast. But the dash doesn't have invincibility. You also have jumps, and you can dash while jumping as well. But since you have invincibility, a lot of the game came down to you could punch in 3 directions: left, right, and straight, and you could read people's dashes and punch them and go okay, punch straight. And then, you're going to dash, punch to the right with my other arm. And then, I guess wrong with the dash, and then punch to the left with your other arm again. So, you can kind of throw out, a lot of punch pressure and cover all these options. But there's a lot of movement options in the first place, so it's kind of interesting. Especially since, it's hard to catch people jumping. So if someone, jumps to avoid your punches, you have to kind of, read that and, adjust your timing for that. And so that makes it very awkward as well, and kind of cool, because if someone jumps, though, they can't block. And so if you read the jump, you can catch the jump with something and really punish them, put them in a knockdown state. And you can also grab in this game, and grabbing, of course, is these people blocking, but also is really good for close range, because since there's no invincibility in the dashes, it's very easy to just kind of grab someone as they try to dash and catch the startup of it, or just read the dash in general. And since grabs put people in knockdown and does a good amount of damage, they're pretty strong. Also, I think the most interesting mechanic about the game is, besides the fact that you can angle your arms, you have to read dashes and jumps and stuff, is that there is charging mechanic. So when you hold block, you will charge your arms, or when you dash and you hold dash, or if you jump and you hold jump, all those will charge your arm. And each of the arms have different effects when you charge it. For example, Springman's main arms go on fire, and they do extra damage, the harder the challenge, move faster, and put people in a knockdown. But something with wind element, like fan arms, will put people into tumble, which can probably be comboed off of, and then put them in knockdown. And then lightning arms, when they hit you, if they actually a solid hit, they break your arms, which when you break someone's arms, what happens is they get stunned and they can't really do anything. They can walk and they can attack with their arm that's not broken, but they can't really dash, they can't jump. It's all weakened. You basically have free hit if you break someone's arms. So getting say a grab on someone to a lightning charge and hitting their roll with the lightning punch into a free combo is really good. It feels like this game has a lot of combo potential because of stuff like that, and just the damage output in general being pretty high, I feel like, because you can also combo arm hits. You can do punch, 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 and a lot of times that'll combo with most arms, or you can do punch into grab, and that would still combo with a lot of arms. So there's a lot of potential to just hit people and do ridiculous damage. Also, supers in this game are interesting, because supers, you can catch the startup of a super and grab someone, hit someone out of the start of it. But if you don't do that, a lot of times you're forced to take the damage on block, which is a lot of block damage. But what you can do is you can also, if you're really good, you can dodge a super attack and grab someone after it if you want to be really, really tricky, or you jump out of it. But for the most part, I feel super is interesting because if you had a super ready and someone wasn't blocking, they threw attack out, or they just tried dashing or jumping, you could just throw your super out and catch them off guard, sort of like Pokken Tournament, I guess. So having supers really changes the pace of the game, because it kind of forces you not to jump a lot of times, or not press bad buttons, which also opens up the opponent for grabbing, because the natural answer is to block when someone has super, but then you just grab them, or even just pressure their block with safe options, and basically force them to do something so you can super them. But yeah, so that was cool. Like I said, very, very aggressive gameplay, I feel like. Because I feel like even though you could punish things in this game by dodging attack and then countering, I feel like overall when people learn the frame traps, that it's a very aggressive game. because it's also kind of hard to like dodge and punish, because a lot of attacks in this game are fast. If you do like an arm swing, a lot of times you could do like swing your arm and then dash immediately afterwards, or swing your arm, swing your next arm, swing your third arm, keep doing it, swing your arm, jump. And a lot of times you dashed, it just wouldn't be enough time, or if you jumped, it wouldn't be enough time to punish that in the first place. So yeah. Also, I noticed that when it comes to wake up options, you can tech roll and wake up, so you can mix up, but once again, I feel like reading those tech rolls and covering them is super important. The game was really fun. I liked playing Mummy Guy a lot, actually. I played Ninja in the tournament because Ninja was kind of busted. The fact that he would block and it would make him auto-dodge meant that he could actually avoid the super chip damage and even punish it if you were really fast. And the fact that his air dash was also a teleport meant you just couldn't catch him off guard. You couldn't react to where he teleported that well. And you couldn't really just catch him with air frame traps. So yeah, but I like that Mummy the most because that Mummy's interesting. When he blocked, he would gain health back at 10 health per tick, which is a pretty good amount. He also had more health than most characters. His grabs did a bit more damage. And his main arm is cool because it's a big hitbox, massive. It can just catch rolls really easily if you read it. But it also punches through every other arm in the game. So you can't challenge the Mummy. And the way you could beat the Mummy was by grabbing him mainly, because he also has super armor by default all the time. So you hit him with an arm, and he just says, "Oh, I have super armor," punch you back. So you have to kind of weave in and out versus him, dodge his attacks, put yourself in positions where his arm can't reach. Because he also can't really angle his arm well up close, but at distance he could. So you have to rush him down, get in his face, and then grab him where he couldn't really dodge it or punch through you to get your damage versus the Mummy. And the Mummy's slow, but he does so much damage and he has good range that he feels like a zoning type character. And then there was also the Mechanica, the flying girl and the robot, who's cool because she has super armor only when she's flying in the air, but she can fly. She doesn't just hover there, she just flies in different directions and dashes and stuff. So it's hard to hit her in the air. And if you try hitting her in the air, she has pretty fast shooting arms. So she can just kind of hit you back for doing that. So you have to time your punishes on her when she's landing. Which is it's hard to do, but it creates an interesting mechanic. And then there was Ribbon Girl, who was had multiple jumps. I wasn't sure to think about her. I didn't really like her too much, to be honest, but you could fast fall the jump. You could just jump, and then hold dash, and then fall immediately, and create some really weird mix-ups. Also, so that was interesting. Also, Ninja Guy was really fast. I noticed compared to other characters, he just is hard to hit in general. And then Springman felt like the Mario of the game, where kind of he had good power on his main arm. He was decently fast, nothing crazy, but he just was kind of average, I guess, in a good way. And yeah, so that was all pretty cool. Stages all felt very unique. I feel like the stage sizes, well, they all were different. And the 3 stages I played on were the stage being shown right now, which has a little area in the middle where if you break it by knocking people down there, it opens up a spring which forces you to jump when you land on it, which can be really bad for someone with a super, but really good if you jump at someone, put on all this aerial pressure because it's hard to catch jumps in the first place. There's a stage with springs on the side of the map which you can jump off of, or if you put someone in knockdown, knock them onto the spring, you get a free hit off it and pride combos. And there's a 3rd stage, which I like the most, where there are pillars on the stage, and you can hide behind the pillars, but they can be broken. So if you have an arm, for example, such as Ninja's Chakram, you can swing the arm, and the Ninja's Chakram goes it curves super far, but then goes back to center of the target. So you can curve around the pillars really well with certain arms, but then other arms like Lightning Gloves were basically useless if you hide behind pillars, because you have to punch through them first, and they can't really curve that well. So that was super cool. It's also very easy in this game to get bodied if you're in the corner, because no invincibility on dashes, meaning if you're cornered and you can't dash out, if someone can cover your jump, and just where you are right now, you can't dash past them, you can't jump, you're basically forced to take free pressure. So holding good positioning, I felt was super important in this game. And not committing at bad times, because it was very easy to dodge, attack, and punish. So you have to know when to commit, when to play safe, and it created a lot of 50-50s. Obviously, if someone's playing too safe, you grab them, but if you try to grab someone and they dodge, they get a full combo punish if they want. And yeah, it's pretty crazy. And yeah, overall I did like ARMS. I feel like the game actually has a good amount of definite, nothing like Street Fighter or Smash crazy, but it has a bit more to its gameplay than what it appears and what's being, I feel advertised at almost. Because it looks like a super simple game. And it is. But the fact that there's all the little intricacies in the characters and stuff, all the arms have different effects, each character has 3 different arms, and you can use you can use like like 2 different arms at a time. Like they don't have to be the same arm, so you can like create really interesting combos for like pressure, comboing, neutral, all that stuff. And overall, I think it's to be a game with a lot of longevity. It felt easy to play. One thing I kind of noticed is the Switch's Joy-Cons are really small. Like I have baby hands, and even when I felt the Switch controllers, I was like, damn, this is tiny. Now, everyone else that played it said it felt fine with them and they had bigger hands than me, so I guess it's not an issue, but just don't be surprised if you grab the Switch and play this game and be like, whoa, this is like, you feel like you're gonna crush it, kind of, because that's what it feels like. But overall, it felt very intuitive. The shoulder buttons on the Switch controller are like, it's like having a Z and R button on the GameCube, except both sides, so you have like a button on top and then kind of a button on the side. It felt very easy to use, and you don't really need much to play the game. And overall, it was very easy to pick up and play the game, because you only use I guess 4 buttons for the game. Wow, only 4 buttons. So yeah. And any questions, guys, feel free to ask me in the comments below. Those are just my overall thoughts and kind of impressions, I guess, for the game. I am pretty excited for it. You can see I'm even arming up for the release of the game. Okay, guys, I'll end the video with that one. That was just atrocious. See ya.